So I was trying to do this video in the car and it just wouldn't help. The car wouldn't help. It just wouldn't work out. So I'm in my daughter's room, my girl's room. I quarantined in their room. Um, and this is where the channel had started. So this is kind of my comfort space, I guess. Not the best background, but here's what it is. So I had just made a video about I will never leave you nor forsake you. So I got a story or something, I don't know, but another verse came to mind last night. And what happened was that I was outside, and where we live, there's a bunch of cats. And I seen this cat, and it's big, and I don't know, a bobcat, a mountain lion, I don't know. But it's big though. And this cat bullies all the rest of the cats. We're coming to find out his home is our trampoline. So he felt like that was his domain or whatever. I said, look at you bullying people all day and then you want to go sleep in my trampoline. I don't like no mean cat. But anyways, when that cat was roaming the way it was alone, it looked sneaky. It reminded me of this verse, and it's like, I'm just gonna go straight to it. And I love this book, by the way. Oh, it's gonna go backwards because it's camera, but it says my book, God. And it's pretty cool because you know how you have NIV version and people say they can't understand. Well, the more and more you read, the more you'll understand. But let's just say for beginners or whatever, or just something easier. I promise, I don't know where I got this book, but it's really good. And it's like how we're talking. So we could definitely understand what it has to say. And then when I read it, you'll know, where this come from. But thinking about that cat last night and the way it was sneaking around quietly, it came to this. And it's in First Peter chapter 5, verse 8. Be alert, be on watch. Your enemy, the devil, roams around like a warring lion, looking for someone to devour. Okay? Be firm in your faith and resist him, because you know that other believers in all the world are going through the same kind of sufferings. But after you have suffered for a little while, the God of all grace, who calls you to share his eternal glory and union with Christ, will himself perfect you, and give you firmness, strength, and a sure foundation. To him be the power forever. Amen. And thank you for that. So be alert, be on watch. This is what he says. And this Peter is saying this. And I like Peter. He's one of the 12 disciples. And Peter, wasn't nobody perfect. Paul was killing people that believed in God, turned around and believed in God. So he uses a lot of different people. And Peter, let's just say Peter was one of the more angry disciples. He was a man of anger, a man of war, and necessarily not a bad thing. So, because everyone's different, if we're all the same, it'd be pretty boring. So, anyways, Peter is saying, be alert, be on watch. Your enemy. And so the original, well, I ain't gonna say the original, but I do know this part. On a King James version, it say be sober. And I like that because yes, I am gonna take that personally. I am gonna personally think you meant be sober, free of drugs, free of alcohol, be sober. Because when you're not sober, the enemy is quicker to get into your mind than as if you were sober. And I'm not trying to throw my husband under the bus because I love him dearly, but when we met hanging out, at the bars or something, friend's house, and drinking, and that was our thing. We would drink, but then we would argue after we stayed all night drinking. And well, when I started slowing down the drinking, or the days I was sober, the days I didn't drink, I can actually pay attention to the argument more than just two people drunk arguing. So I understand where it says be sober, because you have to have a clear mind, a clear conscience. You have to know what's going on around your surroundings. But the minute that you smoke weed or the minute that you drink, yeah, you can say you're good in this, but you're never going to be as good as if you were sober. So be alert, be on watch. Your enemy, the devil, is like that cat that I seen last night. Roams around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. He know he can't touch me. The only way he could touch me is if I let him, and that's gonna be a whole no. This is what he does. He goes and he sees, can I mess with them? Okay, they got Jesus. They're covered real good with Jesus. I can't touch. Sometimes he'll be like, well, I can't touch her because she's literally praising God right now as I speak, trying to devour her. But let me get to her sister. Let me get to her brother. Let me get to her husband. Let me get to her kids. Let me get to her mother, her father. Let me get to her friends. Let me get to her, So, be still for one. Be firm. Be still. Be firm in your faith and resist him. Because you know that other believers in all the world are going through the same kind of sufferings. So I personally feel like he uses us as puppets. And when I see two people arguing, no one's perfect. The world's not perfect. No, we're going to have disagreements. We're going to argue. But sometimes it's just not worth it. And yeah, you know good and well that's a setup from the devil. Like two people are arguing because God is... I know no one's perfect, but God is full of love. We're not about to sit here and just keep arguing. So even if someone's got to be the more mature one, be firm in your faith and resist him, because you know that the other believers are going through the same sufferings. But after you have suffered for a little while, the God of all grace, who calls you to share his eternal glory and union with Christ, will himself perfect you and give you firmness, strength, and sure foundation. To him be the power forever. Amen. So once you recognize that the devil does roam around like a snake or a roaring lion, then you know what to do. It's like this is such a game. This is such a game to me. Like, it's a game for your soul. It's a game for your mind. And you don't want the devil to have it, and he's searching to see who can he devour. He can't devour me, so he'll go next door and try to devour them. And everyone just needs to be on the same page, and everyone needs to know what he's doing. So be alert and don't play fiddle to his game. Don't let him be your puppet master. I'd rather be with my Father in heaven of glory, full of light and love for the rest of my life and eternity, than being played by a damn nothing. And so, because no one wants to be played in general. So don't let that devil trick you, because that's what he wants: kill, steal, and destroy. Okay, that's all I have.